It's not enough to just hide behind technology. Having real conversations with your clients, engaging them, digging deeper, understanding who they are and what they want, that goes a long way toward keeping top of mind awareness and doing the best job you can for your clients. Hi, Jen. We're going to talk in our NPR voices today.
Okay. Which I should, because after being a grandma all weekend, my freaking voice is so no. When I talk to this child, my voice is like 20 decibels higher. It's so bad. So bad.
All right. So I can't share my screen, can I? I can?
You can.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't want to though. I don't
You
want
don't see share?
Okay, let's see.
And then
If I see share, it's going to, let's see. If it asks me to share, it's going to give me slides, video files, share screen, but it's going to go into infinity where it sees this. Like, let's try this. Let's try this. Screen share. Oh, Lord, look at this.
he's the techie
Share
one.
screen. Window, Chrome tab. Here we go. Chrome tab. Yeah,
What are we looking at? Oh, we're
looking at the
standard operating
company. Yes, the standard operating procedure. Here we go.
No,
Ready?
no.
So, little background. The state of New York, in the wake of the Newsday story on fair housing, which was scandalous and disgraceful, not the story, but what the story described.
Activities, yeah.
The state of New York did two things. The first thing they did was they added another piece of paperwork on fair housing. And the second thing they did, and this is I think another example of politicians meaning well, but probably overreaching, but the law's the law. They looked at how some people were asked for pre-approvals and to sign exclusive right to represent, and others weren't. That was viewed as biased treatment. So the state said that every brokerage now has to treat everybody the same, regardless of details, circumstances, or the agent's business model. And you are either going to have to say yes or no. Either you require or don't require ID, an exclusive right to represent, or a pre-approval in order to work with somebody. So this is what we rolled out. This here is the, I think you can see it. Do you see pursuant to New York state law, blah, blah, blah there?
No. Oh, maybe I have to do it.
I don't know.
I'm the engineer. Now we see it.
There we are. Okay. So when we trained the agents about this earlier, because this went into effect on the 20th, my guess was that smaller brokerages would be more likely to require ID, pre-approval, and exclusive right to represent than larger brokerages. And the reason for that is because there's no way a larger brokerage can oversee dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of agents all acting uniformly about this. So the easiest thing to do would be to not require it. And given that we have 100 agents, give or take, herding those cats would have been profoundly difficult and take us away from actually doing our job. So we, like many of the larger brokerages, are saying that we do not require prospective clients to show ID. That's never been an issue for us, by the way. We don't require exclusive buyer-broker agreements, although we recommend it. And we don't require a pre-approval, although we recommend it. And it took some doing to come up with how to word this, what to do, and everything like that. Now, after this went live, I looked at our colleagues' websites, and true enough, I know of at least one smaller brokerage walking distance from our office that will require all three. And I know the larger brokerages in town all have said that they will not require it, based on probably for the same reasons that I stated. Why does this matter? Why are we talking about this? If you are a 90-pound, 65-year-old grandmother meeting someone alone at a vacant house that you've never met, you can ask them for ID to verify their identity in the past for your own safety. And as I will say this, as the charter president of the Beverly Carter Foundation, and Beverly was murdered on the job by people who met her alone at a vacant house, that would be an understandable MO. And if you were meeting someone at a crowded place, you're going to have colleagues with you, blah, 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 and you didn't need documentation from them because you felt safe, different agent, different circumstances. That is now all bunched up as being the same brokerage, same treatment. They both have to be uniform, regardless of details, circumstances, or the agent's preferences. I think an agent should have their own SOP.
Well, just like state rules, right? You can only make your SOP stricter. You cannot lighten up the company's SOP.
Right. So if we were to require these things, then any agent who did not, even if an agent forgot to ask for them, that agent would cause the entire company to be out of compliance. Okay. Moreover, what we have now is a circumstance where any agent of ours who does require it is also going to be in violation. And this is very difficult. Now, this is going to be posted in the office. It is posted. It's posted on the website, as you see. But it puts brokerages in a very difficult position. Not just our brokerage, every brokerage that has multiple agents out there. And I suppose even a sole practitioner, if based on circumstances, they ask for things from some people and not others, this can be viewed as disparate treatment. And the state is boiling it down solely to fair housing and protected classes, and not the circumstances of each singular sort of business model that the agents have, and the details around the inquiry from the consumer. So our brokerage every year gets, no kidding, thousands of inquiries about property. It could be our listings, could be other listings, could be asking you to speak to an agent. And we have to treat all of them the same, no matter whether this law was passed or not. We have to never deny service based on their being in a protected class, right? And there's a lot of protected classes: race, creed, religion, sexual orientation, go on and on. There's a lot of protected classes, and these are good laws. But putting the pre-approval into it, putting exclusive right to represent into it, putting whether or not you want to see ID into it, I think is overreach. And what's surprising to me is that there weren't any brokerages that filed anything to delay this or to look at this or to even protest it. And I think one of the reasons for that is because no brokerage wanted to be that brokerage that looked like they were against something which is meant to be a fair housing matter. You can be for fair housing. You can be for the end, but question the means. So those agents in our brand who in the past would not engage you unless you agreed to get a pre-approval, and would not work with you unless you hired them, which is what an exclusive right to represent is. Now imagine that. You don't want to work with someone unless they hire you. So those agents, if they are in circumstances where someone's not yet ready to sign an exclusive right to represent, or maybe want to see a property before they talk to a loan officer, they are being told that if you cannot do it, then you need to pass it over to someone in the brand who can service them under those circumstances, right? And we'll try and turn a difficult thing into a positive, which is maybe we can monetize it. Maybe you can refer it to someone else in the company, and that'll be a means by which we, I hate the metaphor, but split the baby or thread the needle, or make everybody happy. But this is going to be a hell of a learning curve for both the government and for the brokerages. And I'm not 100% sure that the public is going to really see any real difference. I don't know that this is going to fix fair housing. I think in some agents' worlds, it's going to just cause resentment because it just adds an additional layer of regulation. And I do not know of any agent in our brand who is, I know I'm filibustering. I don't know of any agent in our brand who's a
You
bigot.
put the fill in filibustering.
All right, go on. I'm only half a cup of coffee, too.
Well, first of all, I don't think it does solve anything, but I have to say it actually makes life easier for agents. That's what one thing. And it's funny how this turned into a little bit of like politics to get, you know, some agents have like very strong opinions on getting that pre-approval up front. And then as we got into Zillow Flex, we really, I mean, it was a like complete 180 for me because I'm so, you know, always been so fear-based and whatever. So to learn that the consumer has changed greatly. And because they have such ease to information, they expect ease of access to properties. And also, besides that, they're not super comfortable giving out their information in the first like 5 seconds that you're talking to them. I mean, who would be? It's crazy that we even ever thought that was a thing. So that's a whole nother conversation. But you know, bias is bias. I always tell this funny story, and it'll just fill in bias for a second. So I have this developer who's dying of cancer, and you know, we had these $1 million house, and as soon as everybody heard, because he was a very well-known guy, everybody came out of the woodwork with lowball offers. So his brother owns a big contracting company. I convinced his brother to give me a budget, give me a stager, come in and do these major changes, and we're going to raise the price, and we're putting it back on the market. So the first weekend we raised it from, we had lowered it from $1 million to like 800, and we were getting offers of 600. So I make them raise it to $1,150,000. And I remember the brother basically threatening me, and we do the open house. So now I'm nervous, I'm excited. And my partner at the time, Billy Ho, goes out to get his lunch during the open house. And this doctor couple comes along, and I'm so excited because I can smell the money, and these are the people, you know, they can afford it and they're going to buy it. And they're da, 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 da. So we're upstairs in the master bathroom, and I can see out the window this like turquoise Windstar Caravan. Remember those things? Pulls up this lady with this hair, like just hair, like such disheveled chaos. I can see it from her, from the master bedroom. She opens the door to those 4 Windsor, and 3 golden retrievers jump out, jump through the mud because it's a brand new construction and there's no landscaping, come into the house. Now they're running around the house, and my business partner pulls up, gets it kind of together. And I'm trying to, you know, I'm selling it to these doctors because they can afford it. All right. She's just completely nuts. Now the caravan's at least 10 years old. And Billy was doing the right thing. He got the dogs under control. giving her the tour, like just spending all this time talking to her, going on and on and on. And I'm thinking, like, what is wrong with him? Obviously, this lady can't afford the house. Obviously, she bought the house cash,
Yeah,
as is, at asking price. That's bias. All right. Now it's
absolutely.
unintentional. There's no malice. There's none of it. Right. It's just human nature. So
Right.
the intention of that law will remove that. Just, this is the standing operating procedure. Period.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, here's what,
Gardini, one of our agents asked, is this now what we have to do? So first of all, we already had said that you can make this stricter. We know Brittany is very rigid with, how she's taking buyers out, and that's her book of business and her choice. She just can't loosen up the standard operating procedure. So it's a totally different conversation. This isn't about agent safety. This isn't about, it's just about making things on a level playing field.
well, what's going to happen going forward, because there is a carve out here. If you recall from the screenshot, and I don't expect people to see this, but in the recommended template from the state, there's an exemption for a seller requirement. Wow, it just got close up to me. A seller can require, regardless of a broker's operating procedure, if a seller requires a pre-approval or an ID, that has to be abided by regardless of the operating procedure of the brokerage. So I'm going to predict that 90% of listings are going to require a pre-approval before they see the house. And I got to tell you, that to me is common sense, because if you put your house on the market, there's no way you want someone who cannot afford your house to come look at it. There's just no way. This is not a curiosity caravan. It is not a looky-loo kind of thing. Sellers only want someone who is qualified to afford their property to come look at it, to to clean up, to get out for a couple of hours, to do all these things, to make the place ready. They do not want people who can't afford it looking through. So the sellers are going to start to mandate this requirement, and it'll take it out of the broker's hands.
See, this is where it becomes unfair, though, because there are times, especially when it's a more high net worth individual who's going to be paying cash, there are times when it's difficult to, I guess you can always provide a documentation of your money.
Someone who's able to afford cash, I don't feel sorry for.
I don't feel sorry for either. I just think that we're excluding. There are times when it's like you just can't get it together to get that piece of paper over, And if you look through our Zillow leads, oftentimes those $1 million plus ones, they took them out the first time because it's $1 million plus, so the agent's motivated.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so there you have, what do you call that? What kind of discrimination? Financial, basically, right?
I suppose.
It's not intentional. It's just you're willing to risk more for a bigger commission. It's true. Yep. So, but oftentimes they did not provide proof of funds on the first showing. Most of the time.
If the seller requires it, they're going to have to do it going forward. That's just going to be that is the trend. I will predict. I will predict.
But I think it's an agent's job to say, look, I understand, but there's risk in everything, like a little risk that maybe you let somebody in your house that may not be able to. You don't even know, even if you have a pre-approval or commitment, all that, they still might not be able to afford it. There's no guarantee.
I will agree that sometimes pre-approvals are not worth the paper they're printed on. Pre-approval. Don't pop my peas. Pre-approval is not worth the paper it's printed on.
That's like the new Peter Pecker pickup.
Peter, yeah. So that may be so, but there's only so much you can do. So right. I think if sellers mandate it, and there's always been a carve out even in fair housing, going back to the 60s, that an owner occupant has certain carve outs and exemptions from fair housing that others do not.
Yeah, it's their
I think
house.
we're at the 20-minute mark here.
My house, my rules.
Yep. We're at the 20-minute mark now.
Okay. So
we've made our point.
We made our point. It's not politics. It's literally just making sure that same rules apply to everybody.
Says you.
What, you say something different?
I think it's politics.
Oh, you think no, it's not.
I think it's politics.
It does make it easier. Look, I think I'm the most open-minded person in the world, and I just explained the whole scenario of complete bias.
I get it, but you didn't break any laws. You formed an opinion in your head, but you treated everybody the same.
No, I would have kicked that lady. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you even talking to her?
Well, I think dogs tracking mud through a house does not fall under a protected class either. I think if the dogs were there and they came out. But
it did kind of start with the kind of car she was driving. Just saying.
It's easy to judge that stuff.
The doctor's dogs did that, I would not have been the same way. Just saying.
Yeah. Greyhounds with turtlenecks on that have 700 FICO scores. That's I get it.
All right. I'm ending the broadcast.
We're done.
Hold on. I got to go to our video.
Control settings. It's not enough to just hide behind technology. Having real conversations with your clients, engaging them, digging deeper, understanding who they are and what they want, that goes a long way toward keeping top of mind awareness and doing the best job you can for your clients.